The Middle East is a geographical and cultural region located primarily in Western Asia, but also in parts of Northern Africa and Southeastern Europe. Middle East includes 17 countries. Middle East includes countries that share common factors like ethnic groups, geographic features, religious beliefs, and political history. A transcontinental region including parts of Eurasia and Africa. Sometimes, the definition of Middle East is extended to include the concept of the Greater Middle East, that includes Afghanistan, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Pakistan, and Libya. In this video, however, we will highlight the 17 countries that are unambiguously part of the Middle East. Yemen is a country in West Asia. Yemen is the second largest Arab sovereign state in the Arabian Peninsula. Its constitutionally stated capital and largest city is Sana'a. As of 2023, Yemen has an estimated population of 34.2 million. The terrain of Yemen is characterized by a narrow coastal plain backed by flat-topped hills and rugged mountains. An upland desert plain in the center slopes into the desert interior of the Arabian Peninsula. Yemen's ancient architecture is famous for its age and beauty. Some buildings are more than 2,000 years old. Sun-baked stone blocks and bricks form structures that reach several stories high. The walled city of Shabam is representative of this architecture. Yemenis are mainly of Arab ethnicity. When the former states of North and South Yemen were established, most resident minority groups departed. Yemen is still a largely tribal society. In the northern, mountainous parts of the country, there are some 400 Zaidi tribes. Yemeni Arabic, the primary language of Yemen, is very close to Classical Arabic and is a dialect spoken in Yemen, southwestern Saudi Arabia and the northern part of Somalia. Like Arabic, the rest of Yemen's indigenous languages are also Semitic in origin. The country's humanitarian crisis is said to be among the worst in the world, due to widespread hunger, disease, and attacks on civilians. Tensions eased and humanitarian conditions improved with a UN-mediated ceasefire in 2022, but the combatants failed to renew the deal after 6 months. Oman is a country located in West Asia. It is situated on the southeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula and spans the mouth of the Persian Gulf. Oman has a population of over 5 million. Muscat is the nation's capital and largest city. The landscapes of the Sultanate of Oman are very varied. The fjords of the Muzandam Peninsula, the spectacular Hajar Mountains, the vast dunes of the Rub al-Khali and Wahiba deserts, lush green Dhofar, the fertile Batina coast and the modern capital Muscat. Omanis are known for their hospitality. An invitation to a home is more than a polite gesture. It is an opportunity to become part of the family. Upon entering an Omani home, the visitor is given a cup of coffee, dates, fruits, and frankincense, resembling the humble gifts to the honored guest. The Omani culture is considered rich with its own customs, traditions, and folklore arts decorating its occasions. Omanis are famous for their distinguished folklore arts such as Raja, Meedan, and Aazi, which are very apparent in their wedding parties, religious and national festivities. Arabic is the official language of Oman. There are several dialects of Arabic spoken, all part of the Peninsular Arabic family. Dhofari Arabic, also known as Dhofari and Zofari, spoken in Salalah and the surrounding coastal regions. Omani people are ethnically diverse. The Omani citizen population consists of many different ethnic groups. The majority of the population consists of Arabs, with many of these Arabs being Swahili language speakers and returnees from the Swahili coast, particularly Zanzibar. Formerly a maritime empire, Oman is the oldest continuously independent state in the Arab world. It is a member of the United Nations, the Arab League, the Gulf Cooperation Council, the Non-Aligned Movement and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. It has oil reserves ranked 22nd globally. In 2010, the United Nations Development Program ranked Oman as the most improved nation in the world in terms of development during the preceding 40 years. A portion of its economy involves tourism and trading fish, dates and other agricultural produce. Oman is categorized as a high-income economy and, as of 2022, ranks as the 64th most peaceful country in the world according to the Global Peace Index. Saudi Arabia is a country in West Asia. It covers the bulk of the Arabian Peninsula. It is the 5th largest country in Asia and the 2nd largest in the Arab world. Saudi Arabia is the only country with a coastline along both the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, and most of its terrain consists of arid desert, lowland, steppe, and mountains. Its capital and largest city is Riyadh. Saudi Arabia is the birthplace of Islam, home to 2 of the most important Muslim cities in the world, Mecca and Medina. It's the 14th largest country on Earth, measuring over 2.14 million squared km, which makes it roughly the same size as Western Europe or 1/5 the size of the United States. Saudi Arabia is famous for oil, Arabian horses, the world's largest sand desert, Rub al Khali, the world's largest oasis, Al Asa, Arabian coffee, oil, countless palaces, veiled women, countless mosques, Bedouin on horses, Bedouin on camels, Bedouin with falcons, sword-wielding dance moves, oil, the Kaaba at the center of the Al-Haram Mosque. And Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the world without a river. The culture of Saudi Arabia is defined by its Islamic heritage, its historical role as an ancient trade center, and its Bedouin traditions. The Saudi society has evolved over the years. Their values and traditions, from customs, hospitality to their style of dressing, are adapting with modernization. Saudi Arabians are the 2nd happiest group of citizens in the world according to a new survey. The results of the new Ipsos Global Survey showed that 86% of residents in Saudi Arabia say they are very or rather happy. The Saudi economy is the largest in the Middle East, the world's 18th largest economy by nominal GDP. As a country with a very high Human Development Index, it offers a tuition-free university education, no personal income tax, and a free universal healthcare system. Saudi Arabia is home to the world's 3rd largest immigrant population. It also has one of the world's youngest populations, with approximately 50% of its population of 32.2 million being under 25 years old. Bahrain is an island country in West Asia. It is situated on the Persian Gulf and comprises a small archipelago made up of 50 natural islands and an additional 33 artificial islands, centered on Bahrain Island, which makes up around 83% of the country's landmass. The capital and largest city is Manama. Bahrain is renowned for its verdant groves of date palms. Since ancient times, it has been an entrepot for trade and a source of natural resources for the surrounding area. Bahrain Island is widely believed to be the site of the ancient kingdom of Dilmun, a commercial center that traded with ancient Sumer. Bahrain is the site of the ancient Dilmun civilization. It has been famed since antiquity for its pearl fisheries, which were considered the best in the world into the 19th century. Bahrain was one of the earliest areas to be influenced by Islam during the lifetime of Muhammad in 628 AD. Bahrain is a unique land with an ancient and storied culture that spans many centuries. Despite modernization and a cosmopolitan outlook, Bahrain is today essentially an Arabic culture. Relatively new pastimes like soccer share time with traditional arts like falconry, horse riding, hunting, and horse and camel racing. In the late 1800s, following successive treaties with the British, Bahrain became a protectorate of the United Kingdom. In 1971, it declared independence. Formerly an emirate, Bahrain was declared an Islamic constitutional monarchy in 2002. In 2011, the country experienced protests inspired by the regional Arab Spring. Bahrain's ruling Sunni Muslim Al Khalifa royal family has been criticized for violating the human rights of groups including dissidents, political opposition figures, and its majority Shia Muslim population. Bahrain developed the first post-oil economy in the Persian Gulf, the result of decades of investing in the banking and tourism sectors. Many of the world's largest financial institutions have a presence in the country's capital. It is recognized by the World Bank as a high-income economy. Bahrain is a member of the United Nations, Non-Aligned Movement, Arab League, Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Bahrainis are known to be friendly and welcoming towards expats and have a relaxed attitude towards other cultures. Bahrain is a small country with a wide range of things to do. Qatar is a country in Western Asia. It occupies the Qatar Peninsula on the northeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula in the Middle East. The capital is Doha, home to over 80% of the country's inhabitants. Qatar has been ruled as a hereditary monarchy by the House of Thani since Mohammed bin Thani signed a treaty with the British in 1868 that recognized its separate status. Following Ottoman rule, Qatar became a British protectorate in 1916 and gained independence in 1971. The current emir is Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, who holds nearly all executive and legislative authority under the Constitution of Qatar, as well as controlling the judiciary. Arabic is the official language, and most Qataris speak a dialect of Gulf Arabic similar to that spoken in surrounding states. Modern Standard Arabic is taught in schools, and English is commonly used. Among the large expatriate population, Persian and Urdu are often spoken. Qatar ranks 42nd in the Human Development Index, the third highest HDI in the Arab world. It is a high-income economy, backed by the world's third-largest natural gas reserves and oil reserves. Qatar is one of the world's largest exporters of liquefied natural gas and the world's largest emitter of carbon dioxide per capita. In the 21st century, Qatar emerged as a middle power in the Arab world through its resource wealth, as well as its globally expanding media group, Al Jazeera Media Network, and reportedly supporting several rebel groups financially during the Arab Spring. Qatar forms part of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Qatar's human rights record has been regarded by academics and non-governmental organizations as being generally poor, with restrictions on civil liberties such as the freedoms of association, expression and the press, as well as its treatment of thousands of migrant workers amounting to forced labor for projects in the country. While Qatar is modernizing quickly, the nation maintains its religious traditions and cultural practices. Religious references and justifications are a big presence in everyday life. Family and privacy are important values in Qatari culture. Generally, men and women avoid socializing together. United Arab Emirates is a country in West Asia in the Middle East. It is located at the eastern end of the Arabian Peninsula. Abu Dhabi is the nation's capital, while Dubai, the most populated city, is an international hub. The UAE is largely an arid land with vast sand deserts, but is also characterized by sand dunes, oases, rock mountains, valleys, marshes and mangroves and salt plains. The oases are mostly of date palms. Most oases are located in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. The UAE is known for its grand mosques, the Dubai Mall, oil, a lot of sand, oases, date palms, sand, dune bashing, falconry, pearl hunting, robot jockey camel racing, and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, ruler of Abu Dhabi and the country's first president, oversaw the development of the Emirates by investing oil revenues into healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The United Arab Emirates has the most diversified economy among the members of the Gulf Cooperation Council. In the 21st century, the country has become less reliant on oil and gas and is economically focusing on tourism and business. Emirati culture is a blend of Arabian, Islamic, and Persian cultures, with influences from the cultures of East Africa and Indian subcontinent. Islam has had a prominent influence on local architecture, music, attire, cuisine, and lifestyle. The Constitution designates Islam as the official religion. It guarantees freedom of worship as long as it does not conflict with public policy or morals. It states all persons are equal before the law and prohibits discrimination on grounds of religious belief. Since unification, the UAE government has consistently demonstrated its commitment to inclusion, implementing laws that protect religious freedom and programs that foster interfaith understanding. The temporary constitution adopted in 1971 explicitly guaranteed freedom of religion to worshippers of all faiths. Iran is a country located in West Asia. With an estimated population of 86.8 million, Iran is the 17th most populous country in the world, and the second largest in the Middle East. Its largest city is the capital, Tehran. Iran is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, beginning with the formation of the Elamite kingdoms in the 4th millennium BC. It was first unified by the Medes in the 7th century BC and reached its territorial height in the 6th century BC, when Cyrus the Great founded the Achaemenid Empire, one of the largest empires in history. The religion is central to daily life. Iran has a long history of scholarship that has created a rich culture of art, literature, poetry, music, cuisine, and architecture. Ancient Iranian thinkers wrote influential texts on philosophy and medicine, and it was an Iranian mathematician who invented algebra. The culture of Iran is a mix of ancient pre-Islamic culture and Islamic culture. Iranian culture has long been a predominant culture of the Middle East and Central Asia, with Persian considered the language of intellectuals during much of the 2nd millennium, and the language of religion and the populace before that. The government of Iran is an Islamic theocracy with elements of a presidential system, though ultimate authority is vested in an autocratic supreme leader. The position has been held by Ali Khamenei since Khomeini's death in 1989. Iranian government is authoritarian and has attracted widespread criticism for its significant constraints and abuses against human rights and civil liberties, including several violent suppressions of mass protests, unfair elections, limited rights for women and children, as well as for second highest number of mass executions in the world. Iran is a regional and middle power and occupies a strategic location in the Asian continent. It is a founding member of the United Nations, the ECO, the OIC, and the OPEC. It has large reserves of fossil fuels, including the second largest natural gas supply and the third largest proven oil reserves. The country's rich cultural legacy is reflected in part by its 26 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Historically a multi-ethnic country, Iran remains a pluralistic society comprising numerous ethnic, linguistic, and religious groups. Iraq is a country in West Asia. Starting as early as the 6th millennium BC, the fertile alluvial plains between Iraq's Tigris and Euphrates rivers, referred to as Mesopotamia, gave rise to some of the world's earliest cities, civilizations, and empires of the indigenous Mesopotamians in Sumer, Akkad, and Assyria. Mesopotamia was a cradle of civilization that saw the inventions of a writing system, mathematics, timekeeping, a calendar, astrology, and a law code. Following the Muslim conquest of Mesopotamia, Baghdad became the capital and the largest city of the Abbasid Caliphate, and during the Islamic Golden Age, the city evolved into a significant cultural and intellectual center, and garnered it a worldwide reputation for its academic institutions, including House of Wisdom. Iraq is a federal parliamentary republic. The president is the head of state, the prime minister is the head of government, and the constitution provides for two deliberative bodies, the Council of Representatives and the Council of Union. The judiciary is free and independent of the executive and the legislature. Iraq is considered an emerging middle power with a strategic location and a founding member of the United Nations, the OPEC, as well as of the Arab League, OIC, Non-Aligned Movement, and the IMF. From 1920 to 2005, Iraq experienced spells of significant economic and military growth and briefer instability, including wars. Iraq is one of the most oil-rich countries in the world. The country holding the fifth largest proven crude oil reserves, totaling 147.22 billion barrels at the end of 2017. Kuwait is a country in West Asia. It is situated in the northern edge of eastern Arabia at the tip of the Persian Gulf. Most of the country's population reside in the urban agglomeration of the capital and largest city, Kuwait City. As of 2023, Kuwait has a population of 4.45 million people, of which 1.45 million are Kuwaiti citizens, while the remaining 3.00 million are foreign nationals from over 100 countries. In the 1980s, Kuwait experienced a period of geopolitical instability and an economic crisis following the stock market crash. In 1990, after oil production disputes with neighboring Iraq, Kuwait was invaded and later annexed into one of Iraq's governorates by Iraq under Saddam Hussein. The Iraqi occupation of Kuwait came to an end on February 26, 1991, after military intervention by a military coalition led by the United States and various other countries. Kuwait is a developing country with a high-income economy, backed by the world's sixth-largest oil reserves. The Kuwaiti dinar is the highest-valued currency in the world. For one Kuwait dinar, you will pay about $3.5 US. Being a large oil producer, the government of Kuwait subsidizes the cost of basic food items, petrol, electricity, as well as the healthcare system. The country offers zero tax on income earned by individuals, hence expats are not paying any taxes on their employment income in Kuwait. Kuwaiti popular culture, in the form of theater, radio, music, and television soap opera, is regionally influential and exported to neighboring GCC states. In 2009, Kuwait had the highest Human Development Index in the Arab world. As an Arab state in the Persian Gulf, Kuwait is an emirate. The emir is the head of state and the al-Saba is the ruling family which dominates the country's political system. Kuwait's official state religion is Islam, specifically the Maliki school of Sunni Islam. Turkey is a transcontinental country located mainly on the Anatolian Peninsula in West Asia, with a small portion on the Balkan Peninsula in Southeast Europe. Most of the country's citizens are ethnic Turks, while Kurds are the largest ethnic minority. Ankara is Turkey's capital and second largest city. Istanbul is its largest city and main financial center. Turkey is a dazzling vacation destination for tourists who love to witness ancient monuments and empires. Additionally, the vibrant culture, mesmerizing landscapes, and mouth-watering delicacies attract tourists from all over the world. Turkish people speak various dialects of the Turkish language and form a majority in Turkey and northern Cyprus. In addition, centuries-old ethnic Turkish communities still live across other former territories of the Ottoman Empire. They're deeply loyal. In addition to their family, Turks are very attached to their friends and place a high value on friendships. On both good and bad days in Turkey, you can count on your friends to be there for you. Turkish people are not scared to express their emotions and are honest about them. Turkey has a very diverse culture that is a blend of various elements of the Oghuz Turkic and Anatolian, Ottoman, which was itself a continuation of both Greco-Roman and Islamic cultures, and Western culture and traditions which started with the westernization of the Ottoman Empire and continues today. Islam is the largest religion in Turkey. More than 99% of the population is Muslim, mostly Sunni. Christianity, Oriental Orthodoxy, Greek Orthodox and Armenian Apostolic, and Judaism are the other religions in practice, but the non-Muslim population declined in the early 2000s. Turkey is a presidential representative democracy and a constitutional republic within a pluriform multi-party system, in which the president, the head of state and head of government, parliament, and judiciary share powers reserved to the national government. According to the IMF, Turkey has an upper-middle-income mixed-market emerging economy. The country is among the world's leading producers of agricultural products, textiles, motor vehicles, transportation equipment, construction materials, consumer electronics, and home appliances. Lebanon is a Mediterranean country in the Levant region in West Asia. It is part of the Levant region of the Near East. Lebanon is home to more than 5 million people and covers an area of 4,036 square miles, making it the second smallest country in continental Asia. The capital and largest city is Beirut, followed by Tripoli and Junia. Lebanon is known for beautiful mosques with intricate architecture, historically rich ancient sites, and scrumptious Middle Eastern cuisine. Since the 3rd century AD, Western Aramaic has started being spoken in the region. Following the early Muslim conquests of the 7th century and the cultural and linguistic Arabization of the Levant, Arabic gradually started displacing Phoenician and Aramaic as the first language of most people. The predominant culture is fundamentally conservative and exhibits a great deal of respect for traditions, drawing on many Arab customs. Long-standing Islamic and Christian traditions remain deeply ingrained in social norms and expectations. However, many practices and lifestyles also reflect European influences. Lebanese families tend to be close-knit and loyal. In rural areas, it is customary for more than one generation to live in the same house. Cousins maintain as close relationships as brothers and sisters. Urban families usually are smaller than rural families. Long before Dubai was Dubai, Lebanon was Dubai. In the 1950s, 60s and 70s, it was a regional center for banking and finance, an entrepot and a playground for wealthy Arabs and Westerners. When the oil billions started to flow into the Gulf after 1973, it was Beirut banks that managed much of the wealth. 15 years of civil war and the grip over the country variously by Syria, Iran and Hezbollah brought an end to that fabulous era. So did the exodus of the Christian Lebanese that had made Beirut what it was in its heyday. Palestine is a state located in the southern Levant region of West Asia. Officially governed by the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, it claims the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip as its territory, though the entirety of that territory has been under Israeli occupation since the 1967 Six-Day War. As a result of the Oslo Accords of 1993 to 1995, the West Bank is currently divided into 165 Palestinian enclaves that are under partial Palestinian National Authority (PNA) rule. The remainder, including 200 Israeli settlements, is under full Israeli control. The Gaza Strip has been ruled by the militant Islamic group Hamas and has been subject to a long-term blockade by Egypt and Israel since 2007. The State of Palestine has been recognized by 139 of the 193 UN members and since 2012 has had a status of a non-member observer state in the United Nations. Ramallah is a Palestinian city in the central West Bank that serves as the de facto administrative capital of the State of Palestine. The Palestinian people are Arabs who live and have lived throughout history in a certain geographical region in the Middle East. Generally, Palestine is used to refer to the geographic region spanning from the Mediterranean Sea in the east to the Jordan River in the west. Palestinians take great pride in their diverse and vibrant culture. Many aspects of this culture have their roots in traditional agricultural society of centuries past. Some examples are the distinctive importance of family, warm Palestinian hospitality, and a profound connection with the land. Uniquely, Palestine is a holy land in 3 of the world's major religions: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Jerusalem is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock Mosque in Islam. The Umayyad dynasty built the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem in the 7th century CE. Israel is a country in West Asia. Tel Aviv is the economic and technological center of the country, while its seat of government is in its proclaimed capital of Jerusalem, although Israeli sovereignty over East Jerusalem is unrecognized internationally. Israel is famous for its religious and natural landmarks, technological innovations and startup culture, strong military forces, as well as the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Israel is a land where ancient traditions meet modern innovation. Nearly half of all Israeli Jews are descended from immigrants from the European Jewish diaspora. Approximately the same number are descended from immigrants from Arab countries, Iran, Turkey, and Central Asia. Israel contains a collectivist society in which the group, especially the family, is valued more than its individual members. Israelis enjoy sharing life with their family and friends and are quick to offer help to those in need. Israelis are generally dedicated to their culture and state. Israelis are proud of their traditions and pay respect when it comes to sacred days, such as Sabbath and Christmas. Whatever you do here, just remember getting drunk is considered impolite, as is backing away from an Israeli during a conversation. They are close talkers by Western standards. The Israeli system of government is based on parliamentary democracy. The Prime Minister of Israel is the head of government and leader of a multi-party system. Executive power is exercised by the government, also known as the cabinet. Legislative power is vested in the Knesset. The judiciary is independent of the executive and the legislature. The political system of the State of Israel and its main principles are set out in 11 basic laws. Israel does not have a written constitution. It has the world's 29th largest economy by nominal GDP and 13th by nominal GDP per capita, while it ranks 22nd in the Human Development Index. Jordan is a country in Western Asia. It is situated at the crossroads of Asia, Africa, and Europe, within the Levant region, on the east bank of the Jordan River. Amman is Jordan's capital and largest city, as well as its economic, political, and cultural center. The Dead Sea is located along its western border, and the country has a 26 kilometers or 16 miles coastline in its southwest on the Gulf of Aqaba's Red Sea, which separates Jordan from Egypt. Jordan is a semi-arid country, covering an area of 34,495 square miles, with a population of 10 million, making it the 11th most populous Arab country. The dominant majority, or around 95% of the country's population, is Sunni Muslim, with a mostly Arab Christian minority. Jordan is home to more than 100,000 archaeological, religious, and tourist sites. Like Petra, Dead Sea, Wadi Rum, and Jerash, only to name a few. Jordan is rich in history and culture. It is a great holiday destination to enjoy your time and educate yourself on Middle Eastern heritage. Jordanian culture is a harmonious blend of ancient, modern, religious, and secular. As a predominantly Muslim country, Jordanians practice their religion as a personal spiritual journey and are accustomed to welcoming travelers from abroad whose practices differ from their own. From as early as 1948, Jordan has accepted refugees from multiple neighboring countries in conflict. An estimated 2.1 million Palestinian and 1.4 million Syrian refugees are present in Jordan as of a 2015 census, with most Palestinian refugees holding Jordanian citizenship. The kingdom is also a refuge for thousands of Christian Iraqis fleeing persecution by the Islamic State. While Jordan continues to accept refugees, the recent large influx from Syria placed substantial strain on national resources and infrastructure. Syria, officially the Syrian Arab Republic, is a West Asian country located in the eastern Mediterranean and the Levant. A country of fertile plains, high mountains, and deserts, Syria is home to diverse ethnic and religious groups. The capital and largest city is Damascus. The name, Syria, historically referred to a wider region, broadly synonymous with the Levant, and known in Arabic as Al-Sham. The modern state encompasses the sites of several ancient kingdoms and empires, including the Eblan civilization of the 3rd millennium BC. While modern-day Syrians are commonly described as Arabs by virtue of their modern-day language and bonds to Arab culture and history, they are in fact a blend of the various ancient Semitic groups indigenous to the region who in turn admixed with later arriving Arabs. Syrian Arabic is based partially on the Standard Arabic, but also several French and Turkish words are used in the Syrian Arabic related to reminiscences of the colonial phases, and they are just treated by Syrian people as Syrian dialect. Syria is a traditional society with a long cultural history. Importance is placed on family, religion, education, and self-discipline and respect. The Syrians' taste for the traditional arts is expressed in dances such as the al-sama, the dabka in all their variations, and the sword dance. Archaeologists have demonstrated that civilization in Syria was one of the most ancient on Earth. Syria is part of the Fertile Crescent, and since approximately 10,000 BCE it was one of the centers of Neolithic culture, PPNA, where agriculture and cattle breeding appeared for the first time in the world. Aleppo and the capital city Damascus are among the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. In the Islamic era, Damascus was the seat of the Umayyad Caliphate and a provincial capital of the Mamluk Sultanate in Egypt. Unrest in Syria began on the 15th of March 2011 as part of the wider 2011 Arab Spring protests out of discontent with the Syrian government, eventually escalating to an armed conflict after protests calling for Assad's removal were violently suppressed. The war is currently being fought by several factions. The Syrian armed forces and its domestic and international allies represent the Syrian Arab Republic and the Assad regime. Opposed to it is the Syrian Interim Government, a big tent alliance of pro-democratic, nationalist opposition groups, whose defense forces consist of the Syrian National Army and the Free Syrian Army. As of 2023, active fighting in the conflict between the Syrian government and rebel groups had mostly subsided, but there were occasional flare-ups in northwestern Syria. Cyprus is an island country located in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. It is geographically in West Asia, but culturally and geopolitically Southeast European. Cyprus is the third largest and third most populous island in the Mediterranean. Its capital and largest city is Nicosia. The northeast portion of the island is de facto governed by the self-declared Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a claim recognized only by Turkey. Cyprus is territorially divided into two separate states. Between them runs a buffer zone, the so-called Green Line, controlled by UN peacekeepers. Cyprus has been divided, de facto, into the Greek Cypriot-controlled southern two-thirds of the island and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus a third. The Republic of Cyprus is the internationally recognized government of the Republic of Cyprus that controls the southern two-thirds of the island. This two-thirds of island does not belong to Greece. This is important to know. It is sovereign country. Cyprus is an ancient country blanketed by rugged mountains, beautiful castles and forts. With history dating back to the Greek and Roman empires, Cyprus has a rich heritage which is reflected in its architecture and culture. Cyprus is a popular Mediterranean destination where the past meets the present. The Cyprus landscape displays a great variety of styles. The coast has large open bays and precipitous cliffs and rocks. There are sandy beaches and shingle beaches. The precipitous mountains are mainly tree-covered to their peaks. People here tend to be very loyal to their ethnic communities. Nevertheless, Cypriots share strong values of hospitality and personal honor. The increasing globalization of the island has seen the people become more urban, internationally focused, cosmopolitan and outward-looking. Egypt is a transcontinental country spanning the northeast corner of Africa and southwest corner of Asia via a land bridge formed by the Sinai Peninsula. Egypt has one of the longest histories of any country, tracing its heritage along the Nile Delta back to the 6th-4th millennia BCE. Considered a cradle of civilization, ancient Egypt saw some of the earliest developments of writing, agriculture, urbanization, organized religion and central government. Iconic monuments such as the Giza necropolis and its Great Sphinx, as well the ruins of Memphis, Thebes, Karnak, and the Valley of the Kings, reflect this legacy and remain a significant focus of scientific and popular interest. Egypt's long and rich cultural heritage is an integral part of its national identity, which reflects its unique transcontinental location being simultaneously Mediterranean, Middle Eastern and North African. Egypt was an early and important center of Christianity, but was largely Islamist in the 7th century and remains a predominantly Sunni Muslim country, albeit with a significant Christian minority, along with other lesser practiced faiths. Compared with the physical size of the country and the level of its population, Egypt has scanty mineral resources. The search for petroleum began earlier in Egypt than elsewhere in the Middle East, and production on a small scale began as early as 1908, but it was not until the mid-1970s that significant results were achieved, notably in the Gulf of Suez and portions of the Western Desert. By the early 1980s, Egypt had become an important oil producer, although total production was relatively small by Middle Eastern standards. Cairo is the capital and largest city of Egypt, while Alexandria, the second largest city, is an important industrial and tourist hub at the Mediterranean coast. At approximately 100 million inhabitants, Egypt is the 14th most populated country in the world, and the third most populated in Africa, behind Nigeria and Ethiopia. The population of Egypt is relatively homogeneous. The overwhelming majority, over 90%, are Arabic-speaking Sunni Muslims. About 6% are Christians, who are indistinguishable in other respects from the Muslims.